Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Dark Souls 2 beta playthrough. So contrary to what you just watched, this huge red pain in the ass is my favourite part of the beta. That right there is me using a human effigy, and I'm doing it A to get my life back, and B so that I can perhaps get invaded. So immediately, look at the signs. People were really doing the network test part of the network test. I wasn't. I was being a selfish bastard. But they were doing tons of it, so... good on them. And I do invade, and you're going to see some invasions, but the connection for me was horrible. Every single time. And it really, really made me not want to invade. And it was probably all on my end, because my internet is you know, systematically getting worse. So there's nothing I can do about that kind of thing. I just have to accept it. And I was having a lot of fun with the PvE, so I didn't really mind too much. You know, PvP comes later for me anyway. It's just the way it is. That right there was, I suppose you could call it a setup parry, which worked wonders on him. Didn't kill him though. And I missed the wake up backstab. That is a timing that I'm going to have to learn. And as soon as I get it, I'll slow it down frame by frame and I'll share it. I'm looking forward to so many things I'm going to be able to do with the game. Just every time I discover something that's worthwhile, you know, just sharing it for people. And one thing that I will do, folks, if I find any glitches or if I find anything that I believe to be too powerful or just game breaking and nasty, I'm not going to share that. I'll mention it. I'll not go into too much details, but I'm not going to spread it, because if anybody remembers Modern Warfare 2, there was an uploader called Wings of Redemption who somebody brought to his attention the noob tubing and the one-man army trick, which enabled you to just keep swapping it out for more noob tubes, and he made a video on it, and literally that video got millions of views and every motherfucker started doing it. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't have done it, because they would have, you know. Everybody finds cheesy stuff on those games and people see it and people emulate it because they get frustrated by it and then they start doing it. But he definitely helped spread it, and I don't want to be the guy who ruins Dark Souls 2. I just don't want to be that person. So this is Mr. Strong showing me once again that healing near him is not a good idea, even though I did land a parry. And this is the salty runback, as the fighting game community likes to call it, which uses the term salty, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because people use it just egregiously. It's so overused for anything. Like, you can't even have a good discussion with people because they accuse you of being salty, especially on Twitch, where it's rife. You know, the kind of internet slang stuff that just spreads and fucking gets all amorphous and annoying, and I'm not a fan of any of that stuff. I just aren't. I was waiting for him to follow me. He never does. This was one of the times where I managed to break the following scripting. I don't know how I did it. He just didn't come. Very strange. So, I carry on, and I go back to the giant red dude who killed me twice. I'm wearing the ring of... what the fuck's that ring called? I think it's like the ring of war, which is essentially the steel and protection ring, I think. It gives you a little bit more defense. Out comes the Zwei. And comes the Radiant Life Gems, and I'm going to do the Life Gem trick again, which doesn't work. I'm just getting ambitious and trying to cheat the game. So here goes the preparation pop of the Life Gem. Here's me putting some aromatic ooze on my sword, so you get to see me buff it. It really doesn't make much of a difference, and I think the buff itself looks kind of shit, because it reminds me of, is it Great Magic Weapon, which looks shit as well. But Brandon says the pine resin looks amazing, so I'm really curious to see that. Because, oh, I tried to guard break him. Got all creative then and it didn't work. But damage-wise, I did more than half his life, and then I missed the parry like an idiot and get flattened. There's the heal. Here comes the big hit. Right. Did you see that then, folks? I was blocking, directly facing him, and he dead-angled me. And I don't know why. And it's happened a few times on both builds of the game that I've played, on this build and on the E3 build. There are moments when the enemy goes through your shield, and I'm extremely curious as to why. Because if it's a mistake that I'm making, I need to learn what it is, and I need to stop making it. If it's something in the game that can be avoided, I need to learn how to avoid it. If it's just bullshit, I need to find it so I can address it. Because that is stunning to me. I don't get it. In fact, after this, I'm probably going to slow it down and look further into it, because it looked like I just got robbed, you know. And if it was my fault, that is fine. You know, the only way you get better at games, folks, is by accepting that you need to learn, by accepting that you need to improve, and finding the ways to do that. And that's one of the best things about Dark Souls, because it forces you to, you know, to do that. And if you don't, you'll just always get bummed. Speaking of getting bummed, we're back again. I'm not going to buff my sword this time. I always get the first parry, because for some reason it just seems to be dead easy, and every parry afterwards I just seem to fluff. No, I can't even tell you why. I go for the wake up backstab, I don't land it. I back away from the big horizontal dead angle wanker swing. Here he comes again with the vertical swing, sorry. There's the horizontal one. If I had to guess what it was, oh, look at that. A complete guard break. A full stamina too. That is nuts. I was strafing as well. That time he missed somehow, and I managed to get the backstab. You'll notice I swapped weapons to the axe. If you're questioning why I did that, it's because I know I would have not had enough time, / I would have missed if I'd have used this Vi. So it was the only real way of getting it. So that was strange. What the hell did he do then? Again, look at it, a full break. That is crazy powerful. And I'm looking for the backstab now, you can tell, because I'm just trying to fish that quick kill. And I'm really paranoid watching it, because I know how dangerous this guy is, just for the sake of sometimes he hits you. Oh, here we go. What'd I say? You cannot take him for granted at all. I thought I could just mash him down, and even with a two-handed greatsword, it doesn't break his poise. I'm curious if that giant axe does with enough strength, but I haven't seen any footage on YouTube of anybody hitting him with anything really big. But this is a really good thing, because if this one guy is giving me this much trouble, it gives me faith that there's going to be some really tough stuff in the game. And I've already heard about a character called the Pursuer, who I'm going to be making a video on, because aside from a few articles, I don't think people know too much about this, and it was mentioned really early on that there was going to be a character that hunted the player, but I think everybody kind of collectively forgot about it, and I want to go into some detail and perhaps speculate on some of the things that could happen. Because the coolest thing ever is he gets dropped by an eagle, it says. So like the giant crow that picks you up and drops you to the asylum, the thing just flies in, drops him, and you instantly have a fight against something incredibly powerful. And I'm really excited to just see how tough this guy is. And if he's anything like this fella, hopefully I'm going to be a lot better of a player by the time I fight him, because this guy just embarrassed me for 20 minutes. And you'll notice there's people who've made it here and were already PvPing, which is interesting, I guess. Backstab. There we go. 324 damage is not so bad. Bloody hell. Thought I were being invaded then. That would have sucked. Look at him, he's got 2 massive swords. Which makes me wonder, has he played the beta before so he knows exactly what he's doing and where he's going, or is he just some dude who's, you know, got through it all really quickly and he just wants to kill some people? He should be dead now. So I did cheese him, but he killed me enough to deserve it. And he drops a humanity, which is a joke. Fucking human effigy after all of that. I wanted him to drop that sword. Like Buster Sword. So I just put an aromatic ooze on my axe, and I hope that that did not get rid of my buff. And I don't think it does, so we'll soon see. But for anybody who's not seen this before, this is the Gauntlet Chariot racing crazy boss fight, which I saw somebody on a video the other day said that they ripped this off Devil May Cry 3. It's like, yes, there is a horse and chariot in that game, but I think, didn't any game that uses that kind of rip it off, I don't know, history? Devil May Cry 3 did not invent horses and carts. No. We did to carry shit. But I already knew a little bit about this boss fight before I did it. I knew that there was skeletons in the room, and I also knew that there was necromancers keeping them alive, so my first goal was to find the necromancers and not get completely screwed by the chariot. Because if it hits you when it's doing its circle like this, I believe it's a one-hit kill, or it's extremely close to it. The only way to dodge it is in the alcoves or an incredibly well-timed roll. Biggest problem with that roll is rolling on this game doesn't make any sense to me yet because the iframes are so different. And I'm going to have to invest some time if I'm going to learn it because I am not very good at it at the moment. Which is why I use my shield a lot. But here's me fighting with the necromancer dude. And now that he's dead, the skeletons, when killed, will stay dead. And what I'm hoping for here is I'm hoping for the chariot to do all the dirty work. I'm hoping he's going to kill them all. I see a switch, I think pull it, and lo and behold it pulls the gate down and it enables me to fight the horse. So I'm not too sure what happens to the rider. I don't know if he just kind of falls off or what, but the boss is this thing, this two-headed stallion. I do have a skeleton at this moment in time being a nuisance, but you have to prioritise bosses in my knowledge, so that's exactly what I did. And this thing fights a lot like the boars. That's what it reminded me of. So if you've got quite a lot of knowledge of fighting the armoured boars in Dark Souls, you're going to have a pretty decent idea of what this thing does, because it's almost identical. In fact, I'd say it's easier, because the boars are dangerous. And this boss just kind of... I mean, if it hits you, it really hurts, I expect, but it has to work hard at hitting you if you know what you're doing. And I'm not saying that I know what I'm doing, I know how to fight this kind of enemy. I've done it before, so just keep on... Oh, that was disappointing. Never ever go face on with anything. You know, it's like 101 in action games. Also, do not give him too much space, because he does a magic attack, which has killed, you know, people in the past. So you want to be real careful. But the damage that I'm doing to it, I could probably mash it down now and kill it, but I'm being a little bit more patient, so... And my stamina is... yeah. That was my fault, that I didn't manage my stamina well enough and I didn't have enough to evade. But it didn't do massive damage to me. And it's dead. So... that boss is easier than the Skeleton Lords. But it's a unique one. I think it's going to be a really fun one. And I'm kind of hoping that there's a bit more nuance to it. Maybe there's some other ways to kill it or other ways to do things, because that would be really cool. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying this, and you take care now.